Hello everybody, welcome to the first of our briefings during the school closures. These are a bit like assemblies where we're going to deliver information to you and your families about what we've got set up to help you with your learning at home. I firstly want to say I hope you and your families are well. Obviously it's a very difficult period of time that we are in at the moment. We've just heard that there's an additional 3 weeks worth at least of this lockdown, and so I hope you are managing to stay safe and stay at home and that you're all keeping well. I'd also like to say a really big thank you to all of those students who have been busily working hard at home on the work that the teachers have been setting. I'm also very grateful obviously to your parents and carers for supporting you and enabling you to do that work at home. We all appreciate it's not easy, and we're developing what we're going to do. So part of this briefing is to talk to you about what we're going to be doing over the next few weeks, hopefully to make things easier for you and your families at home. I'd also like to say a big thank you to all of the teachers who are working in completely new conditions. This is unusual for us as well as it is for you, and they appear to be doing a brilliant job in setting you work and providing you with resources that can help you to extend your learning whilst still being at home. And one teacher in particular I'd like to say a big thank you to is Mrs Baker in technology. She's been in school over the last week or so and has produced over 100 face masks for the NHS, so we're very grateful for her effort and her support of that work. So the main purpose of this briefing is to talk to you about homeschooling and the way that we're going to develop. So for the next week, or this week in particular, week beginning the 20th of April, we're going to continue as we did before the Easter holidays, where teachers will set you your homework, linked to your timetable in school on Go for Schools. One of the jobs I really want you to be able to do this week is to make sure you can access your school emails, and there's two reasons for that. Your school email will have a contact from your tutor during this week. We're going to ask you some questions which really are quite important that we can find out how you're getting on and whether you need any more support. So that's the first thing, so make sure you check your emails and respond to your tutor. The second thing is that we're going to be starting to develop our use of Google Classrooms, and so you will get invitations from various teachers to join different classes on Google Classrooms to help make the work become more ordered for you and to make the quality of what you're getting better. So please do regularly check your school email account. Details of how to do that are available on the coronavirus page of the school website if you're uncertain still. Do get logged in, respond to your tutor and accept any invitations to any Google Classrooms. One of the things we're particularly keen to talk to you about today is mental health. We're all in a very unusual situation. We're all working and staying at home much more than we've ever done before, and it's really important that we look after ourselves from a well-being point of view. I want to at this point out to you that on the school website are a series of activities for a PowerPoint that you could be doing with your families or in your own just to help keep yourself healthy and keep yourself well. Making sure that you can maintain contact, whether that's on the telephone, on social media accounts, with your friends and your family is also really important, so I'd encourage you to do that. And finally, if you're able to, do as much exercise as you can in the safety of your own home. So for example, Joe Wicks is a great method for doing some home exercise. He's creating programs every day on his YouTube channel. There are lots of other personal trainers doing something very similar if you're not so keen on his style of exercise. I mean, you can even find things like yoga classes online, which is all very good for people who are less keen on that style of exercise that Joe Wicks has been following. So moving ahead, I want to talk to you about the week beginning the 27th, so next week. That's where we're going to be starting to approach the whole homeschooling thing very differently. Firstly, we're going to be creating and sharing with you and your families and the teachers a reduced timetable, so we won't be setting as many lessons worth of work each week. And the reason for this is to make it more achievable for you, to make sure the work you're getting is high quality and making sure you're able to achieve what's being asked of you. So there will be a reduced timetable, and that will be shared with you over the course of this week, and it will comprise of a couple of lessons that are the core subjects, so English, Maths and Science a day, followed by, if you're in year 7 or 8, 2 lessons of the non-core subjects, so the others, not English, Maths and Science. If you're in year 9 or year 10, it will be the 2 core subjects a day, followed by an extra longer time spent on one of your option subjects. The reason we've decided to structure the timetable differently is, one, to help staff with setting their work and make it more appropriate and practical for you, but also to help you to be organised with your learning. One of the bits of feedback we've had from the student surveys, for those of you who've completed it, was that it was a little bit difficult to keep up with exactly what was needed to do, linked to what lesson when. So we're really hoping that this reduced timetable and our new approach, which is going to be much more reliant on Google Classrooms than Go for Schools, as I'll explain in a moment, will make things much easier for you. The other activity that we're going to be building in from week beginning the 27th is a tutorial activity. So that will include the sorts of things you normally do in tutorials. So one of the slots will be allocated to watching the weekly assembly. Another slot will be allocated to doing PSHE tasks, literacy tasks, and various things like that. But this will also be detailed on the reduced homeschool timetable. I want to just conclude this briefing by talking to you about the Google Classroom. We know that many of you are actively engaging with that classroom, and we're very grateful for you for doing that. We're developing the way that we share our work with you, so we're going to move away from Go for Schools, and in the week beginning the 27th of April, we're going to be using the Google Classroom to have created individual classes for each of your subjects in each of your groups. So you'll have a direct link with your teacher for your class. The work will be aimed directly at you and your peers in your class. The reason we've chosen to go with Google Classrooms is because we're seeing it being used more effectively than Go for Schools, firstly. It gives you the ability to submit work to your teacher easy, which also then means that they're able to give you some feedback and provide you with information about what you've been doing. It helps you to improve your communication with the teacher, so if you've got questions to ask, it's a bit easier if it's all in one place with the Google Classroom. And it also enables us to really share and celebrate the wonderful work that you're doing. So with that in mind, Mr Mackenzie is currently busily developing a gallery type approach to this. So some of the fantastic work that we've already received as teachers is going to be displayed and shared with colleagues at school, with other students and with your parents and people who want to log into it via various things, including the school website and the school Facebook page. So do look out for that, and if you're really keen to get your work up into the gallery, make sure you share it with your teachers in time for them to do that. So we will be increasing the follow-up with students who are not completing the minimum. That's really quite important. So if you're somebody who hasn't quite completed as much of the tasks as we wanted you to do before Easter, now's the time to start, because as we're becoming more familiar with this way of working from home and doing your learning at home, we do need to make sure that we're keeping track of how you're getting on. So there will be some more contact with students who've not been able to engage with the work as well. And on a similar note, we appreciate that not everybody has access to the internet all of the time. And so we're developing the way that we can support those students and provide resources to help them with their learning if it's not through the internet. So if we don't know that you're having difficulty with your internet access, then please do call the school to contact us, and we'll be able to add you to the list of people who need a different style of resources. Finally, one of the things that came up from the student surveys is that some teachers have been a bit slow to respond to an email that you've sent. Obviously, this is quite important that we do have access to emails, as the teachers are expected to be able to do that. So if you have emailed a teacher and you've not had a response, try sending the email again in case it didn't make it there. But further for that, we have added responsibilities for members of the senior leadership team to look after your needs effectively. So Mrs Doherty, who will be available on the email, she is going to be looking after students in year 7 and 8. So if you've emailed a teacher and you're in year 7 and 8 and they haven't responded, you can contact Miss Doherty and she will chase up the teacher for you and try and get your help that you need. Mr Rowland is going to be looking after year 9. So again, if you're in year 9, you've missed a response from a teacher in year 9, then contact Mr Rowland and he'll chase it up for you. And finally, for year 10, Mr Pulford is going to be overseeing your year group. So if the same situation, if you're waiting for a reply and you haven't had a response and you want some help, then please contact Mr Pulford and he'll chase it up for you. I hope this briefing has been useful, and I hope that the work and the way that we're going to deliver the work to you continues to be useful for you. The priority here is for us to go through a situation and to support the beating of the coronavirus by us all being able to stay at home, but also to make sure that your learning is able to continue as best as it can. We appreciate that it's going to be more difficult at home than it is in school, and therefore the resources that we're trying to provide you are becoming much more straightforward and should be more user-friendly. Thank you very much, and I hope you all keep well.